Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Command and Conquer Rivals replay request. This week, joining me on the mic is going to be Jeffrey CNC. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Absolutely stoked because we got about 9 games to get through today for this week's kind of requests or meta, whatever you want to call it. So without further ado, we are going to get into Kuthad versus Nerd. This was actually submitted to me from Kuthad's YouTube. It doesn't quite fit the aspect ratio, so it's going to be a little off, but at the same time, 2 Tiberium level players, seen Nerd around. Kuthad, I'm hoping will impress, and Jeffrey, I say we get it going.
Let's do it.
Might be a little quiet, but hopefully it'll be good enough. There's the volume mixer. All right, let's boost that a bit. Cool. All right, so as we get into this one here, Jeffrey, Kuthad and Nerd on probably the map I hate the most in Tiberium right now.
I'd have to agree with you. I despise this map a lot.
Yeah, it's not on my favorite list. I think it's too much open area there, but at the same time, 2 range units can do really well. I don't know what the deck lists are on this one because they weren't submitted, and I wasn't willing to watch the game beforehand because that's not how I do things. But War Dog opener into lasers. We'll go back and forth based upon the 2v1s, but what do you think these guys are hiding?
I don't know. It's kind of odd to me that they're running Riflemen and War Dogs. I'm not too sure what the reasoning behind that is. And War Dogs are such a bad counter against lasers, so it looks like, Nod's got the advantage here.
They definitely seem to be killing the most, but out comes that Talon. Good thing we got bikes and missiles mid. The Riflemen moving over. Definitely not going to get there in time. And, well, we're going to try to take 2 with a Talon. I just don't see it happening, Nerd.
I don't see it happening either. I mean, Talon into 2 bikes? That's not a good deal. And he's pulling out the missiles now. Might be too late, though.
Yeah, especially since he left, like, a 1-hit point dog at the top right.
Right? Oh, yeah. Yeah, he lost that missile quite easily.
All right, 3 red pads, man. Nerd's going to be down half his base. Is on a 3-building deck right now. I'd be very surprised to see him go tech after so many units that he's shown.
I agree. I don't see it happening. There's just too much pressure on the board, and yeah, I just can't see Nerd being able to pull it out in time. He's so far behind at this point too, right? Like he's been pulling out missiles a bit late, and now Flame Troopers are out. Pit Bulls are going to help a little bit, but those bikes are going to do pretty good work.
Now, Kuthad is Seth as well, right? So if it comes down to this second pad and he doesn't have something for that top right, he could easily just throw down some Flame Troopers. We know that there's rockets out there. They should be scouted out pretty easily here on top of things. So that's something that Kuthad can kind of keep in his back pocket. But I think we've seen both the decks at this point.
Pretty much, yeah. And, I think Nerd is just, he seems to be falling behind again. Like he pulled out the Pitbull against the Banshee, and the missiles would have been the right answer there. Throwing those missiles onto that top left pad, it looks like Nerd is just overwhelmed, and he's not able to catch up.
He also threw an ion cannon there in the mid, which probably wasn't the best use of his Tiberium. Not that they're really going to be short Tiberium at all. Single Harvester decks can probably go for ages on this matchup, but it's really just kind of feeding each other into the flames a little bit, because we got flames for the infantry and then bikes and pit bulls. They just keep going at it. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat.
So I wonder what Nerd's going to do. He throws down the ion cannon there in the middle again, but he got a pretty good value out of that, better than his first one for sure. But is it going to be enough? He's throwing the missiles into that middle pad, which is a good call. Pitbull's coming out to deal with. I'm not sure what he's anticipating with that, but the missiles there are going to clean up those bikes in the middle. But he's got to deal with that top right pad. He's only got the War Dogs up there. Bikes are going to move up and take it, and I don't know. Good call on the Pitbull going to that top left, though.
Yeah, Pitbull should... Well, okay, well, if the bike's going to follow it, then there's nobody to contest the mid. That was a bit of an oopsie-daisy there from Kuthad. Oh!
A little bit.
Scorpions! Okay, yes, Scorpions in the deck. That's going to be the first I think we've seen of that now here as well, but that was a costly mistake from Kuthad. He shouldn't have chased that down.
So it looks like Kuthad's running a pretty standard low-cost Nod deck with Seth. Pretty normal deck, straightforward. So it's really going to come down to getting the most value to the trades. Wow, ion cannon on those Flame Troopers, not a good deal. Not a good deal.
He's been ion cannoning quite a few Flame Troopers this matchup. He's really trying to make sure that his rockets do survive because there is actually quite a few vehicles out and about, as you can see. I mean, he's not getting anywhere close to that top right pad there, Jeffrey.
No, he's not. He's not even thinking about it. He's just so focused on that middle. It was a good call to throw the missiles up the top right, but to win this game, he's got to go for that top left pad at some point.
Well, I mean, Kuthad's also been using the flames, the summonable flames in that top right, rinse, repeat. So could actually be the winning move.
Exactly. And there it is. There it is. Yeah, exactly. I think that's game.
It's gonna be okay. Well, with them up on that top right. Oh, this could be a changer. Ah, it's too late.
No. Pretty good game overall, though. Nerd really fell down in the beginning there, and I think that's where he lost most of the game. Unfortunately, if he had pulled out the counters a little bit sooner, he would have probably maintained tempo enough to contest that first missile. But well, Kuthad came out on top on that one.
For two aggro decks, that was actually a really long game. Single harvester aggro decks typically don't go the distance like that. I'm actually rather surprised we had Scorpions come out after second missile.
I agree. Well, and usually the point is to win the first two missiles. If you go to the third one, I mean, it's going to be so difficult to generate enough value from your low-cost units because your opponent is going to start pulling out higher and higher value units. Mm-hmm. So typically, you're right that we see these games end much earlier than this.
Well, there's a good stuff there from Kuthad taking on Nerd. Thanks for the submission. Haven't ever had to do it from YouTube before, but there's a first for everything. And up next, Skelturix in a super close game.